Okay, this craft is the yarn greeting cards for a holiday open house. And for this one, I really like because you really get to be creative and kind of come up with your own thing. So you have in your kits a bag that has a card in it like this. And then it has a piece of cardboard with quite a bit of yarn pieces on it. So I'm going to show you a few different things that you can do. Some of the examples that I have here. The other things you're going to need some scissors for this for sure, and some Elmer's glue. But everything else is kind of whatever you have in your craft cupboard. A lot of you probably have some washable markers and crayons. If you have some paints like this, some watercolor paints, you can use those too. The paper that this is on is a really kind of hard cardstock so that you can paint it. You can do all kinds of different stuff on it and it's not going to warp on you. So I'm going to show you a few different things. So if you have some markers, I'm going to show you how to kind of make a background like this. So the easiest way is to use watercolor paints if you have them. If you don't have them, you can use markers like this. All I'm going to do is put some color on. Whatever colors you want in your background's fine. I'm going to do some blue and purple. And then just take a wet paper towel and just take your towel and just kind of rub them together like this. And the tape that is on the borders on the outside here, when we take that off, it will leave white behind, so you'll have a nice little border. And you can see how it kind of looks like I just painted it, even though I didn't. So let that dry. That shouldn't take too long. Some other things you can do, you can just color with the markers if you want. But other options for doing a background are using a crayon. So if you take the paper off of one of your crayons and just color on the side of it like this, even leaving that tape on and just going right over the top there, that kind of gives you a little bit of a background. So you can see I did that in this one here, and I think I even did it over in this one as well. I used the crayon background. So after you have a couple of your backgrounds done, however you want to do it, the next thing is to decide where you want your tree branches to go. That's if you want to do little ornaments like this. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be actual Christmas tree, or you can do even a tiny little Christmas tree instead of really big branches, however you want. So I'm going to do some branches, and I'm just going to take a green marker and I'm going to make what kind of looks like some Christmas tree. Now, if you've already got your Christmas tree up, you can go and see what the branches look like on your Christmas tree, and it'll kind of help you know how to do this part. Whatever you want. So I got a couple branches there, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this yarn to make the ornaments like this. So you can do, there's different ways you can do it. You can make a spiral one like this, or you can cut up a bunch of little pieces and make one like that. So choose what color you want to use first. I'm going to just pick this maroon color over here and unfold it. And I'll show you how to make the big spiral one. So let's say I'm going to do one of these. And actually, before I do this part, I am going to take the tape off on mine. That way I can kind of show you what it's going to look like. So you want to be really careful when you do this part and go really slow. And just kind of pull the tape off. And if it kind of grabs some of the paper a little bit, that's okay. And you can see I have a nice border now. I'm going to take that off before I put on my Christmas ornaments. So that way they can kind of go over the border a little bit. So I'm going to use Elmer's glue. And I'm going to put down just a little bit like that. And I'm going to start right in the center of my circle. And I'm going to start to kind of wind the yarn around, see which way it likes to go first. And then you're going to get a little gluey with this part, but that's okay. Start to kind of curl it around itself. And you'll have to keep adding glue, and you want to decide how big you want your ornament to be. I'll make mine pretty big down here. And I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to cut that off right there. Make sure that stays down. And you can do as many of those as you want, however many or wherever you want to put them. A lot of times if you do odd numbers, like 3 or 5 of something, that can look really nice. And then if you have a Sharpie or even a pencil or a pen, and it's kind of nice to make little hooks that come up off the ornament, so it looks like it's hanging on the branches. You can even put little tops to there too if you want. Another thing you can do, let's make one like this. Put down some glue in the shape that you want the ornament to be. I'm going to use some yellow this time. And then just take your scissors and cut lots of little pieces. You can kind of throw them right on top of that glue. You want to cut enough pieces so that it covers all that up. And you can make a little ornament that way too. So that looks kind of nice. And if you have other things at home like glitter or ribbon, you can add those to this as well. And you can see I even did some borders with my yarn. So you can even take some of this and glue it down around the outside. And Elmer's glue will dry clear, so you don't have to worry about that. So you kind of get the picture. I'm going to just leave that there. And then the next thing you can even do too is use your markers to write a message, or maybe this is a card for grandma. And then after it's all dry, then you can write something inside, or even decorate the inside too. So be creative and have fun.